Hello, Marce. I will try here to, let's say, to give my impression about the homework in Italy. I will provide you my answer, especially, let's say, basing on my experience as a mother rather than as an educational technologist. So my answers will basically be focused on primary school because Riccardo is attending primary school now, and lower secondary as Matteo is attending this stage. So I have to say first of all that there is a great difference in Italy in the way these schools are organized. Primary school, in a primary schools you have two, let's say, teachers, two main teachers. One teacher is more oriented to the, let's say, humanistic subject matters, while the other one has to do and is in charge of the more scientific ones. And then there are other possible, let's say, minor teachers. There is usually in primary school there is some sort of collaboration between these two teachers. And this also has an impact on the homework, because this means that teachers tend to coordinate a little bit about the, let's say, quantity and quality of homework that they assign to children. I'd also mention the fact that in Italy primary schools can be organized in different let's say modalities. So there are children that attend only in the morning. There are children that attend in the morning for 3 days and 2 days morning plus afternoon, and then there are other children that attend morning and afternoons for 5 days a week. So we have these three categories, let's say full time, when you attend morning and afternoon every day, 75% time when you have morning and afternoon but only 3 times a week, and then you have 50% time only morning. Of course, the quantity of and quality of the homework that the children receive is based on the kind of classes they are attending. So Riccardo, for example, is attending a full time. This means that they usually during the week they do not have any assignment, they do not have any homework, they just have homework in the weekend, okay? Instead, the other two, let's say, categories of classes I have mentioned before might have some more homework also during the week, in addition to the ones they have for the weekend. Usually the quantity and quality of the homework are very, well, depend on the teachers. I mean, it's up to the teacher to decide whether and how much homework to assign, how many days to give children to carry out the assignment. So there is no law, no regulation, no internal rule within one school. It is very much depending on the single teachers. This of course creates a differentiation because there are children in the primary school that are overwhelmed always with homework, and there are children that have very, very, very light homework, very sporadic. So there is a big issue, I would say, also in the way this is perceived, both by the children themselves and also by the parents, okay? Also, this might impact, as you can imagine, in the organization of the family life, okay? Because if your child attend one class where there is a very demanding teacher, this has got an impact on your family life, on the way you can organize, for example, the weekend or the activities in the afternoon. If you have a child whose teacher is less demanding, this has a different gives you a different scenario, okay? Okay, here it comes the second part of my answer that has to do with the lower secondary school. Here the situation is completely different, because here in Italy you have 13 teachers for each class, 13, so you have 13 different subject matters, and for each of them there is a teacher, and basically there is no coordination among them. So if you want, here the situation is even more let's say vague and confusing regarding homework, because again there is no regulation, no rule about the kind and quantity of homework that teachers can assign or must assign, have to assign. Again, it's up to each single teacher to, let's say, evaluate whether and to what extent assigning homework. Also in this case, you can have classes which are full-time or classes that are, let's say, half-time. But you have to consider here that in lower secondary schools, class at full-time are a few, because basically there is a problem of infrastructures, because you know, schools of this stage seldom have got room to you know, to give food to children. So there is it is very rare that the school can provide the lunch to children. So for example, Matteo is attending a half-time class. This means that he attends also only in the mornings, and usually in the afternoon he has got a lot of homework, because each teacher acts let's say in isolation in respect to the others, and each teacher tends to consider his or her own discipline as the only one, and this brings children often to be overwhelmed. But as I was keep saying, again, this is very depending on the teachers, on the teachers you have. Okay. Last part of questions I have probably not yet addressed is the one about, let's say, the types of homework that teachers assigns. I would say that basically it's individual work, both at the primary and lower secondary school. Probably at the primary school, depending on the teacher, sometimes they can assign also collaborative work, meaning that they can ask children to meet each other, to meet together in the afternoons to carry out some kind of collaborative work. But this is very sporadic, I would say, and in any case is very depending on the teachers. So mainly it's individual work, and it's not on a voluntary basis. I mean, homework typically are mandatory, and it's I would say that generally speaking, homework is not personalized, so all the children receive the same assignment. It might happen that some children get some additional homework in case they haven't understood some part of the let's say, of the contents, but this is again rare, I would say. Generally speaking, homework are the same for all the children. About again the nature of homework, typically they are asked to study from the textbook, carry out exercise from textbooks. Sometimes they get assignments such as finding information on the web, so making some sort of inquiry, but I would say again this is not so common, especially it depends on the discipline. Some the teachers of for example of science most commonly can assign some kind of inquiries through the web. Other teachers of other disciplines do not use this kind of homework. So most commonly they have to study on the textbooks and make exercises.